Chapter 1. The Unopened Letter. They didn't think I'd show up. Honestly, I wasn't sure I would either. The letter sat on my kitchen counter like a ticking bomb. Thick, creamy paper, elegant cursive spelling out Dr. Clara Hensley. Not Clara. Not my nickname, Star. Just my title, cold and distant. It had been 7 years since I'd heard from my family. No calls, no texts, not even a happy birthday when I survived that crash in Nevada. Just silence. Heavy, intentional silence. Now, out of nowhere, an invitation to my brother Jake's engagement party. A scribble note inside. Stay quiet. Not, we miss you, not, please come. Just a warning. Like I was a storm they couldn't control. I turned the envelope over, wondering how they even got my address. Maybe the hospital's admin team forwarded it. Or maybe Jake thought his perfect night wouldn't shine without his disgraced sister in the shadows. This wasn't a reunion. It was a trap. I stood by my apartment window, the city buzzing below like it had secrets to spill. The neon lights flickered, and I felt that old ache, curiosity mixed with pain. Did they even remember me? Outside, a siren wailed, sharp and fleeting. I leaned against the glass, watching strangers move through their lives. They didn't know what it felt like to be erased by the people who raised you. I envied that. A knock snapped me out of it. My assistant, Riley, poked her head in. "You going?" she asked, eyeing the letter. She always saw through me. "Just got it," I said, voice flat. She smirked. "That's not an invitation, Doc. That's a dare." I didn't reply. It wasn't just a dare. It was a challenge, a test, maybe a threat. And I hadn't decided if I'd walk away or step into the fire. Either way, I'd bring my stethoscope, not to impress, but to remind them you can't erase someone who saves lives. Chapter 2. The Perfect Facade. Maryland welcomed me like a glossy magazine cover. Too perfect, too staged. Cherry blossoms lined the streets, lawns trimmed to perfection. It was the kind of place that screamed flawless until you looked closer. I pulled into the cul-de-sac and parked across from the house I used to call home. Everything was the same. White shutters, red door, memories that stung. I hadn't been back since Dad's memorial. Even then, they'd left no room for me. No seat, no hug, just me standing alone in my scrubs while Mom sat with Jake and Aunt Lynn like I didn't exist. Tonight was Jake's engagement dinner, and somehow that hurt worse. I knocked. The door opened, and the scent of lavender cleaner hit me. Mom's signature, masking her judgment. "Clara," she said, her eyes lingering on my white coat. "Don't ruin this for Jake. No welcome home, no you look good. Just a warning." Inside, the dining room was a museum of my past. Same oak table, same crystal vase, same tension thick enough to choke on. 12 people sat around it. 13 chairs. Guess where I sat? The far end, next to the kitchen door, where the heat made my neck sweat. Not near Jake, not even in the middle. They knew what they were doing. No one said, "Clara's here." No one introduced me. I was a ghost in a white coat. A cousin whispered, security to her friend. I didn't flinch, but it burned. Have you ever walked into a room that held your childhood and felt like an intruder? If you know that silence, louder than laughter, you get it. It's wild how your own family can erase you right in front of you, isn't it? Chapter 3. The Mask Slips. The banquet hall was a fairy tale. White tablecloths, silver candelabras, a floral arch screaming perfection. Everything was flawless, except the seating chart. My name wasn't there. I scanned the elegant board. Jake and his fiancée Lily at table 1, Mom and Aunt Lynn at table 2, cousins at 3 and 4. No Clara Hensley, no Dr. Hensley, just a tiny C. Hensley scrawled at table 10 by the service exit. My napkin was slightly off-white, a subtle job. Not a mistake, a message. Jake glided through the room, all charm and smiles, his fiancée glowing beside him. He stopped by my table just long enough to say, "Try to keep it less hospital-like for you." Then he was gone before I could speak. I wasn't shocked, but it stung. I'd saved his fiancée's life in that ER 3 years ago, and now I was a stranger at his party. The toasts began. Mom raised her glass. "To love and unity." She looked past me. Jake followed. "To new beginnings." No mention of the sister who flew across the country. Then Lily took the mic, her voice syrupy. "Even my big sister made it, all the way from wherever she stitches cuts now." The room laughed, loud and cruel. Mom joined in. "She's our family's rebel, but at least she's on time." The laughter roared, glasses clinked. No one stopped it. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I stood, raised my untouched glass, and spoke clearly. The lives I save outrank every title in this room. Silence crashed down, not because I screamed, but because I didn't. Then I saw her, Lily, standing by the floral arch, her face pale. She hadn't laughed. Her eyes locked on mine, and she walked toward me steady, deliberate. Past the cousins, past Mom's sharp whisper, past Jake's frozen smile, she stopped in front of me and said, loud enough for everyone, "This is Dr. Clara Hensley, the surgeon who saved my life. Please forgive my fiancé." The room gasped. Jake's glass slipped, shattering on the floor, but Lily swayed but didn't faint. Mom's chair scraped back, but I stood still, unshaken. This wasn't revenge, it was truth, and it was overdue. Hey, if this story's hitting you, hit that subscribe button for Tears and Traps. We're diving deep into stories of betrayal and triumph. Don't miss out. Chapter 4. The Truth Unravels. The hotel cafe was dim, all soft jazz and candlelight. Mom sat across from me, her silk scarf perfectly knotted, her coffee untouched. "You made quite a scene," she said, no warmth in her voice. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. The blogs are talking. Some call you a hero, some less kind. Still, I said nothing. We weren't ready for this. Not Jake, not me. "Lily fainted," I said, voice steady. "She's delicate," Mom replied. "To truth?" I asked, "or to not being the star?" Her fingers tightened around her cup. I didn't come to argue. "Then why are you here?" I pressed. She leaned forward, barely. "Maybe you could post something online, something neutral, to clear up misunderstandings." I laughed, sharp and cold. "You want me to clean up your mess? To protect your image?" She flinched. "You have to understand," she said. "We didn't mean to hurt you. You were always different. Too bold." I wasn't bold. I was visible. There's a difference. I pulled a folder from my bag and slid it across the table. This was sent 6 years ago,
An anonymous complaint to the medical board claiming I botched surgeries, questioned my license. It cost me a promotion. Mom's eyes flickered. That could have been anyone. I slid another page forward. Text analysis. 95% match to Jake's writing. Secondary patterns? Yours. Her face cracked just for a second. I didn't write it. I said, but you fed him the words, the details, the tone. He sent it, but it was your plan. Her eyes glistened, but no tears fell. I was protecting Jake. He couldn't compete with you always glowing. He didn't need to compete. You just made sure I was buried. I stood, leaving the folder. If anyone asks why I stopped coming, tell them the truth. You chose Jake. I chose myself. She didn't follow me. Betrayal doesn't need a loud fight, just silence and a signature.
Chapter 5: The Dawn After. The California coast stretched out below my balcony, waves crashing soft and steady. I held a mug of tea, steam curling in the morning light. For the first time in years, I felt light. No pagers, no emergencies, just me and the horizon. The video from the engagement party went viral, 4 million views in a week. Caption: "They laughed until her truth silenced them." I didn't comment or share. I didn't need to. The hospital offered me a board position, but I turned it down. Instead, I started the Horizon Fund, helping doctors and nurses rebuild after family betrayals, because sometimes the worst wounds come from those closest to you. Mom sent an email a month later. "I saw your TED Talk on resilience," she wrote. "I didn't know how far you'd gone. I wish I'd seen you." But she did see me. She just chose not to. Now I choose who gets to know me. Not out of anger, but because I finally love myself enough to walk away without guilt. This morning, a kid from the beach cafe brought me a coffee, grinning. "You really a doctor?" he asked. "Was," I said, smiling. "Now I'm just someone who chose to stay." He laughed and ran off, sandals slapping the pavement. I turned to the sea, and the silence felt like home. Have you ever had to walk away to save yourself? If this story hit you, drop a blue or a word below. I read everyone. Thanks for sticking with Tears and Traps. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that pull at your heart and keep you guessing.